All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, women and children of all ages, you have now tuned in live for the Monday night show on your favorite day of the week. It's Monday, not just a regular Monday. It's a holiday, ain't it? I know it's a holiday. What holiday is it? You tell me. 420. Is it a holiday to you? I'm wearing green just for you too. So, that's all I can do to represent is wear the green. So that gives you a little bit of heads up on what we talking about. So hope you're having yourself a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. We got some good content for you tonight, as well as coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. Go ahead and put your name in and where you're coming in from so we can get you a quick shout out on the show here. Let's see here. So we got a couple of brief announcements real quick before we get started with the content for you tonight. Let's see here. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a real estate meetup, a virtual networking Hootie's House Buyers Club. Rich Groves is going to be throwing this simulcast. We're going to be streaming live on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube as well on this tomorrow night. It's going to be a national call. You can set up for that if you want to be in on the Zoom call to participate at stlviplist.com down at the bottom there. You can sign up to actually be a person that comes on and talks about the real estate market that we're dealing with now as far as COVID-19 and anything else that we're going over in as far as the topic. So like I said, that's tomorrow night, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll be on with Rich Groves and some more family members on the panel. If you want to join in, like I say, you can go to stlviplist.com, or if you just want to watch it and be a spectator, you can come on and do that as well. That will work out for you also. And then, so let's see, what do we got here after that? So next week we'll be on with O'Neill Parker, Mr. Real Estate Entrepreneur. That's on the 27th. We're coming on talking about business credit and how to leverage and get to buy more real estate. That's what we want to do, right? Buy more houses than you can even live in. So we're going to be talking about that on April the 27th. And then let's see, what do we got the week after that? Monday, May 4th. Can you believe that May is almost here? Time is ticking quick. We're going to be on with Ron Rana talking that real estate talk. You know, he does big numbers down in Texas. So we're going to bring him on to pick his brain to see how we can get more deals as well. You know, only bring the heavy hitters. So don't miss out on that one. And let's see, the following week, what is that going to be? May the 11th, we got Willie Coleman, only 19 years old, investing big at only 19 years old. Can you believe they've been doing $100,000 months in real estate? 19 years old. So that should tell you anybody can do this stuff. So just take the time to learn the game and step up into it and do the thing. So if you want to be notified of these shows that's coming up after today, all you got to do is text JV to 31996. That'll get you the post notification as well as get you the free joint venture agreement as well. Just text JV to 31996. And as far as tonight, you know, we got Hakeem Valles. He'll be on in a moment. He's in backstage. He's warming up. He's getting ready. He about to come out and swing and drop some heavy hits on you. I see him jumping back in the backstage. Oh my goodness, he ain't playing. So we'll have him on in just one moment. So who all we got up in here? Let's see here. What we got? Good vibes. What's up, Bobby Jam? What's up? What's up? What's up, Edward in Chicago? I see you. I see you. Who we got here? JoJo Stern on Periscope. All right, I see you. What you holding there? A baby? Got a little baby in your hands. All right, take care of that baby. All right, Bobby Jam in New York. I see you. And let's see here, JoJo. And hey, family, what's up? Nina just locked up your first subject 2 deal. Look at her doing numbers out here. One of my students doing great things out here. Good to see you. And what's up, Max? So like I said, go ahead and drop your name in and where you're coming in from. We'll get you a quick shout out. Other than that, you know what time it is, y'all. It's time to get it popping.
And we have And we have Mr. I Stay Woke. And Mr. I Stay
Woke. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? This is the student master teacher, Mr. I Stay Woke, Chris Monroe, and I'm right back at you with another real estate video. You know, we got good content coming up for you here. So if you find anything that sounds like it helps you in any type of way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share if you care, and we gonna bring the heat for you. So without further ado, my brother, what's up, Hakeem? How's it going?
Chris, what's going on, brother? Doing well. How are you?
All right, all right. I saw you back there warming up and stuff. What was you doing? Shadow boxing?
I was just getting hyped, you know what I'm saying? you had the amazing intro going. You had the music going and all that. I was getting, super hyped.
I know that's right. That's what we got to do. So for people who may not know, who are you, Hakeem, and what do you do?
My name's Hakeem Valles. I played in the NFL for 3 years. I've been investing in real estate for the past 8 years. Since then, I've founded a global media company called Perspective Global Media, and we help real estate professionals on the media side of things. I'm also a cannabis investor and a professional keynote speaker.
Oh man, you talking about some cannabis now? You done did some. Wait a minute, this 420 ain't this a holiday or something?
Oh shit, it is. It is 420.
So you didn't know we scheduled it on a day just for you on purpose, right?
That's funny.
All right. So you say you do cannabis. So you deal in cannabis, you're doing media, and you got out of the NFL. So what made you gravitate more into going into entrepreneurship when you got out?
So for me, it actually wasn't after when I got out. It was well before. I've been an entrepreneur since I was in 5th grade when I started my first landscaping company. And then when I went to middle school, I used to go to school with 2 backpacks on. One had my books in it, and the other bag had Skittles in it. And I used to hustle Skittles every day. My mom used to go to Sam's Club, buy me a box of Skittles for $13, and I'd flip it and make $23 per box. That was my second business. And then when I got to high school going into college, my little brother broke his iPhone for like the 10th time, and my dad said he wasn't paying for it to get fixed. So I checked it out, went on YouTube. It took me about 6 hours, but I was able to put his phone back together. And I was like, damn, I might have a business here, because the phone only cost me $25, and the people at the mall were charging at the time $100 to fix a phone. So when I stepped on my college campus my freshman year, I was the iPhone repair guy. And once I got to college is kind of when I actually started to get into real estate. I went to Monmouth University, a small school in New Jersey, and they're one of the few schools in the country that offers a degree in business with a concentration in real estate. And it was awesome, being 18, 19 years old, learning about cap rates, learning about NOIs, learning about, reading P&Ls and things like that. It was an unreal learning experience. And at the time, the girl I was dating, her dad had just started a house flipping business. And he took me under his wing, and we flipped 10 houses together in North Jersey while I was in college. And then when me and his daughter broke up, that entire relationship kind of ended. And, moving forward, making it to the NFL, that was when I doubled down into real estate. I utilized the house hacking strategy. I'm not sure if you guys have talked about that on this show here. But I bought a 4-unit apartment building utilizing my FHA loan, and lived in 1 unit, rented out the other 3, and lived for free. My teammates thought I was crazy, while they're living in mansions and fancy condos in Scottsdale and Paradise Valley, Arizona. And I'm living, in a 4-plex with Section 8 tenants in my property. And just as I progressed through the league, I continued to progress being an entrepreneur, expanding in real estate and expanding in cannabis. So when I went to the Detroit Lions, my second year, I bought a duplex and house hacked it, did the same thing, lived downstairs, and actually Airbnb'd upstairs. And then while I was in Detroit as well, that was when we got into the cannabis space. So we bought 40 acres in a town called Pinconning, which is about 2 hours north of Metro Detroit. We bought it hedging that cannabis was going to go recreational 6 months later. And we bought it for $500,000. And then when the referendum passed and cannabis went rec, we got an offer for $7 million. And instead of cashing out at that time, we realized we had the leverage. And we spent the last 2.5 years interviewing, touring the facilities of some of the best cultivators in the country. And since then, we've reached agreements with 2 of those companies to expand and develop our land out. And then as my career progressed, I went from the Lions to the New York Giants. And after playing with the Giants is when I decided to retire, and then really put the foot on the gas with entrepreneurship.
Wow, I know that's great. I know a lot of people coming up want to play in the NFL or the NBA and want to play sports and stuff. How was that experience for you? Was that something you would suggest people do in the, coming up?
If you got it, 100%. I think self-awareness is everything. And interestingly enough, I'm actually training to go back and play next year again, which is going to be super exciting. And you can actually see the jugs machine in the background back there. Um, but advice and what it was like. The NFL to me was just like another job. I'm not crazy passionate about football. My passion is being an entrepreneur. But it is, it's a grind at the end of the day. It's, you're playing with some of the best players in the world when it comes to talent. So you have to actually have that real conversation with yourself. Is this something that you actually want to do? When it comes to football, if you don't love the process, you don't love throwing up after a hard workout, you don't love the tears, the blood, the sweat, then you'll never survive in the NFL.
Wow. So NFL is for only the strong will survive, huh?
Yeah, but the NFL also stands for not for long, because most people's average NFL career only lasts for 3 years.
Wow. Because I know they kind of tear your body up a little bit after a while,
100%.
Yeah. And so you say you got into the flipping business. So how did that go? Was it a lot of ups and downs in it? Or how do you think that went?
Yeah, so for me, it was an awesome learning experience. I was young, obviously, and in college, and I was just trying to figure out the way. And I think it's a great piece of advice for people who are just getting started. I was figuring out ways on how I could add value to my ex-girlfriend's dad. And at the time, he actually owned a print shop. And I would, while he was handling the high-level stuff in the flip business, I would do all his deliveries in his print shop. Then when it came to the flipping business, I used to handwrite all of our direct mail pieces. I used to go, and instead of us mailing it, I'd just go and deliver it to those properties. And you can't obviously put it in the mailbox. You can put it in the door. I used to do the cold calling, knocking on doors of pre-foreclosures and negotiating and stuff like that. I was, scouring different lists, whether it's, stuff coming from different, wholesalers and stuff like that, figuring out the right properties that we're going to actually tackle in that sense. And then his first cousin was our general contractor. So we actually did all the hard labor. So we're knocking down walls, putting down floors. A funny story, while I was because I was playing D1 college football at the same time, we had to we were converting attic on the 3rd floor into a master bedroom, and we couldn't fit a stairwell. We couldn't, you've seen a stairwell outside of a house. We couldn't fit it through the front door, but on the 2nd level, there was a window that was big enough so it can fit. And I hired all my probably 6 of my college teammates to come up. It's probably an insurance nightmare, but we literally lifted the stairwell through the 2nd story window and dragged it through to then install the stairwell. But it was learning. It was literally just learning by doing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was having fun and just trying to figure out the best ways I can add value to this guy.
So it sounds like you are of the model of fail forward.
Oh, 100%. Shoot first, aim later. Most people spend all their time just waiting to, they don't pull it from the hip. You know what I'm saying? I'm shooting from the hip.
Okay. So I know that that flipping business taught you a lot of stuff as far as, direct sales and, hand-to-hand combat with people and getting doors slammed in your face and all type of stuff, I'm sure.
100%. 100%. You got to have thick skin. And at the end of the day, when it comes to flipping and stuff like that, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. If you don't have that persistence and you can't handle no, then it's probably not for you, or you need to hire somebody to do that part of the job.
I know that's right. So tell me more about this cannabis business. How does that work? I mean, is it just for more so you have the land and you're leasing the land to somebody else to go grow some weed? Or how'd that go?
So our 40 acres, we have the capacity to put 42 20,000 square foot warehouses on that land. And each of those warehouses, we can grow up to 1,500 plants in each warehouse. So with that, we realized, one, I don't know anything about growing marijuana, especially on a commercial scale. So like I said, we've spent legitimately, since 2018, we've been interviewing and touring the massive facilities of these different cultivators. And we've decided on these 2. And essentially the agreement that we've reached is, we're going to take 50% of their business. We'll have somebody from our team on the board of their company. And essentially, we're marijuana landlords in that sense, and hands off. But we could have cashed out, obviously, but we see the long-term value in this business.
So you basically are just like leasing the land over to them then, so they can just.
Essentially, it's essentially on a triple net basis, but it's really we're entering multiple partnerships with each companies that kind of comes on, and we actually parceled off the 40 acres into 7 separate parcels. So we bought the land with all of our cash, and then moving forward, we won't have to bring in outside capital. We can borrow against the land and continue to scale. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that was up in. So I guess you could almost buy some land right here in Illinois now and do the same thing since it's legal there.
You probably could. I wouldn't say it's. I don't know how liberal. I haven't went too deep into the law structure in Illinois yet, because obviously, as you know, it's 50 states, 50 completely different set of rules. Michigan. People underestimate Michigan in the cannabis space. They're the number 2 state when it comes to the ratio of consumers of cannabis after California.
Wow, they consuming it like a mud, huh?
Exactly.
You need some shops up there or something.
100%.
All right, cool. And so that's cool. So so you got into all of that. You've been doing that for a little while now. And as far as the branding and marketing, how important do you feel like branding is when it comes to a personal brand and or a business brand for a person?
I think it's everything. I think, in the 2020 world, we need to be focusing on branding, personal branding, business branding. It's as important as knowing how to balance your checkbook. Like, in the sense of, we never had this opportunity. What we can do from our cell phones, like 10 years ago, we would have had to pay $3.5 million to launch a satellite up into space, so we could then start our own news company and then broadcast our propaganda out to the world. Or we'd have to buy a radio station to then broadcast our propaganda on the radio, or buy a printing press and put our propaganda in a newspaper sense. But now we can do all of that from our cell phones. And especially because I'm speaking to a room of real estate investors, we know it best. If I told you could buy real estate in 1940 in New York City or in San Francisco or in Los Angeles, you would do it in a heartbeat. You'd double down. You would make that your most important priority. You'd be hustling every day so you could buy even more because you know the opportunity. I'm saying that same exact opportunity exists in the digital space, but most of us aren't taking advantage of it. Most of us are too insecure to broadcast our truths. Most of us are too worried about what everyone says about us when we post content, out on all of the platforms. But I think it's so important. We have the opportunity to actually show who we are at scale and or provide value to who we want to, and essentially build your network, build your tribe, and continue to grow it from there.
Yeah, so you say people are insecure, and I agree. Some people are insecure or afraid, like, I don't want to be on camera, hide my face, and I'll just not, or maybe not even do that. Why do you think of people so afraid like that?
I think all of us are stuck in one big game of high school. We're still thinking about those 10 cool, popular kids that existed in our high school. And when we did something that we thought was uncomfortable or out of our comfort zone, that we were, taking that risk, and then we got made fun of in that sense, or somebody said that was corny, or somebody said that was lame. I think that voice is still in the back of everyone's heads. And then on top of that, we've just reached a point, in society where we all want to keep up with the Joneses. We want to do what's cool, not what's our truth. We look at I think of social media, forget about the branding, forget about business branding, forget about personal branding. If you want to be real, I think of social media and branding as, think about your legacy. Like, think about if you could see the content from your great grandpa. Do you know what I'm saying? And then now think about your kids and your great grandkids. Do you want your great grandkids to see the fake, Instagram, Facebook polished up version of yourself, or the actual true, authentic you? Think about, what if Martin Luther King could put out content? You know what I'm saying? What if Abe Lincoln could put out content when he was out there? Now that we have this opportunity to actually severely create our legacy, we should all be taking advantage of it.
Wow, now that's some deep stuff, to have somebody that can come in, thinking of the people of the past, because the narrative is always directed to whatever the news say or whatever people that are in control say. But today you have control to say what you want to say from your own mouth at
scale. You have the opportunity to broadcast your I wouldn't say propaganda because it has a negative word, especially with what's going on in today's world. But you have the opportunity to broadcast your truth, because I think all of us, every single one of us human beings, we're all inherently special. But like I said at the beginning, most of us are too insecure to even show it.
Wow, that's definitely true. And for people that's watching right now, we're on with Hakeem. He's talking about branding. And if you have any questions about anything we're talking about, be sure to drop it in there and we'll get to it. We'll have a Q&A here at the end of the show. So, so branding. So which one is more important to you? You think it's personal branding, business branding, or they're both the same?
I put them in the same bucket. I think, yeah, you should have maybe a business account and a personal account, but I think people put that business account on a pedestal. I think, like, most of us, when we start a new business, our natural reaction is to, okay, I gotta make an LLC. I gotta do all the BS that really has nothing to do with the business. I gotta create a personal account. I gotta make a business account. I gotta do all this stuff that doesn't necessarily matter, and then create a whole new audience to show them what they're doing, because most people want to start that business account so bad because they're scared to show their actual followers what they're doing because they're afraid it's going to fail. Wow. And I think that's the punchline. I think, like, in the sense of everything that you do is you. Like, I'm an NFL player, I'm a cannabis investor, I'm a real estate investor, I'm a keynote speaker, I do startups, I am the founder and CEO and like operating on a daily basis of a global media company. But all of that makes me me. The reason why you want to do business with me is because of that, not because of it's just this one pocket. And we tend to put ourselves in a box. And when you put yourselves in a box, you know, it's hard for even people to even find you. There's too much noise and friction out there. If you've got 10 accounts, if I have 10 accounts for all the 10 things I'm doing, you're too segmented in that sense. Whereas all those 10 things make me me in that sense. But sure, create that second account to maybe post the content that you don't want to post, that maybe you don't like. For example, I have separate accounts, but the content that we put on those accounts is from like podcast interviews that I'll do, the micro content that we extract from those interviews that I don't post on my personal page, we'll post it on our business page. You know what I'm saying? Oh, somebody's saying that we're freezing up.
Let me see here. Y'all freezing up on Periscope. Shouldn't be. I'll check it out. So okay. Yeah, it seems like it's still good over here on the other thing. So yeah, we're good.
Cool.
Periscope do what it want to do. That's why I had to make a new account for them, because they booted me off on my Chris Monroe STL page. I had to go create a new page called Chris Monroe Show just so I can even present this on here, because they cut me off.
Oh wow.
So yeah, because I have a position of I'm not too loyal to any of these platforms, just being honest. They're all just platforms. I don't have no loyalty to them. A lot of people be like, oh, but I love Instagram, or I love YouTube.
I hate social media. Put it that way. I hate social media, but I love underpriced attention. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking for wherever the attention is. Like, attention arbitrage is the reason why we should be using social media in that sense. Like, perfect example, I'd probably say 90% of your audience probably doesn't post on LinkedIn every day. And yeah. LinkedIn is the most, if you're a real estate investor, LinkedIn's the most important platform.
Yeah, crazy as that sounds. If you're putting out content, about 2 months ago, I just started hitting up LinkedIn hard about 2 months ago.
LinkedIn's algorithms, the way it works with content, it's like how Facebook used to work in 2010, 2011. For example, my very first post that I put out on LinkedIn was when I bought my first FHA loan. When I bought my fourplex in Phoenix, it was a 1-minute clip of me telling, put 3.5% down. The property cost $268,000. Put down $13,000. You know, lived in one unit, lived for free. Blah 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 blah. That video got 55,000 views on it, and from it, on top of like the inbound, you know, I got invited to be on, say, 15 podcasts, got 4 paid speaking engagements. But on top of it, I had 2 investors reach out to me who had 14 days left on their 1031 exchanges and had about $250,000 that they needed to deploy into a property in 14 days. But I didn't have anything for them. But at the end of the day, it's like, you have to keep putting yourself out there and the opportunities will come in. Because when you're putting out content at scale, you don't have to stress and worry about outreach. You'll have to decide about the opportunities that you get to choose from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would agree with that completely. And then you did say something a minute ago about noise. There's so much noise out here, and I don't know if you follow the campaign of Uncle G or Grant Cardone just said that, oh, he filed bankruptcy just to get everybody riled up to make them think he really filed bankruptcy, even though I knew it was a ploy. Do you think there's a such thing as going too far as such as things like that? It's like going out and to get attention.
Personally, I'm not a fan of Uncle G. To keep it real with you, because I'm a big fan of everything I say is it's being recorded and I'm historically correct. I want to be historically correct, and I'm just not personally. I'm not a fan of it, but I do think he's hacked attention doing something like that. I don't know if you should be untruthful in those moments of hacking attention, because at the end of the day, people are getting a sour taste in their mouth when they hear those type of things, if you know what I'm saying. So it's like, pick your poison in that sense. I'm not the one to judge in that sense. Like, do your thing. Me personally, I don't consume anyone's content. I actually mute. The only person I actually consume is Gary Vee. I'm not sure if you know what Gary Vee is, but everyone else is muted. I follow people back, whatever. I take, especially when I'm on planes or when I'm like pooping, for example, I mute every single person that I follow. So I don't consume anything. I'm just posting my truth at scale, so I don't have to hear all that outside noise, if you know what I'm saying.
So you don't even mess around with it. Yeah. And I'm kind of the same way. I don't consume a lot of content. People ask me, did you see this on social media? I'm like, no, I produce social media. I don't consume a lot of it.
There's two types of people in this world. There's producers and consumers. If you're producing, you're going to be relevant. If you're consuming, you're going to be irrelevant. That's the punchline.
Yeah, that makes sense. So definitely don't be just a consumer, be a producer. And that just goes into business and life in general. If all you do is consume, I mean, how many people are you really helping if you're just consuming, you're not producing anything?
That's real, my friend.
I agree with that. All right, let me see here. Lady T on YouTube says, how did he apply for a 501 and put it in a trust so that they know their grants are USDA grants? He should look into that. I guess saying you should look into a 501c3, I guess, or something like that. You know anything
that
about?
Sounds interesting. I do, but I'm the type of person, like my business partner on this cannabis deal is a real estate attorney, and I don't try and I don't go into those. I know what a 501c3 is and all that type of stuff, but when it comes to all the legal jargon, I don't even waste my energy on it. I know it, I understand it, but I just don't waste my energy on it.
So that's a jewel right there. Surround yourself with knowledgeable, talented people
in your circle, so it's not an expensive phone call. I call my attorney at any moment, any time, and in other situations, it might be a $500 phone call for some people, but bring them in your circle. And honestly, an interesting thing that we did with that, and I think a lot of people need to think about with attorneys and even real estate agents, is figuring out ways how to collab. Like, he doesn't charge any retainers, he just takes equity in that sense. And I think there's agents out there, there's big time commercial brokers out there who are always looking for that, that commission off the top. When in reality, if you offered equity instead, like I've got a broker in Kansas City where he doesn't take any percent. He actually invests whatever he was gonna get in commission from that sale. He reinvests it into that deal.
Now that makes sense. Now that's a smarter business person, huh?
100%. It depends on what you want to do, though. If you're looking to cash out at the end of the day.
Everybody want that quick, fast money, just like wholesaling. I want to get in and get a wholesale deal and get a $10,000 check.
100%. Wholesaling's an interesting game. I think wholesaling, if you're looking at it that way, you never be successful. If you want to wholesale, you got to actually treat wholesaling like a business. Most people treat wholesaling like a side hustle, if you know what I'm saying. If you actually treat wholesaling like a business, put the systems in place so you're not running, because everyone's seeing it. Everyone's seen it. When you go into wholesaling, you wind up running yourself ragged because you're the bottleneck for everything. You know what I'm saying? But once you actually take the time, take 2 weeks and literally 9 to 5 for 2 weeks just on working on those systems, I think a lot of wholesalers will be in a completely different place.
Right. Okay, so as far as say somebody's watching this stream and maybe they just got into entrepreneurship, they kind of new, where do you think they would start at as far as building up a brand? Is there a specific platform they should start with? Is this something they should do first?
Honestly, my biggest piece of advice is starting a podcast. I think podcasting in a 2020 world, especially for real estate investors and especially for real estate investors that are just getting started, is the number one way to go. mainly because, and naturally people go, podcast, I don't know anything. I'm not anybody. Why would I start a podcast? I think that, say you're a beginner investor, it's a lot harder to do cold outreach, whether it's Instagram DMs, LinkedIn DMs, or Facebook, whatever, to say, hey, Chris, love what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. Love to just pick your brain sometime over coffee, blah, 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 blah. Like 1 in 20 Chris's are even going to get back to you and say, sure, I'll let you pick my brain, because you're busy at the end of the day. And you don't really, like, it's not like you have malice, in your heart where you're like, yeah, screw this guy. It's you're busy and you don't want to get your brain picked in that sense. Mm-hmm. And I think when you have a podcast, it completely flips the script when it comes to leverage. Because if that same person who's doing that outreach, instead of saying, Chris, I'd love to pick your brain over coffee, says, hey, Chris, love what you're doing, love your show that you have, blah, 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 would love to have you come on my podcast called the St. Louis Real Estate Podcast and come and tell your story. It hits a different endorphin in your brain, because at the end of the day, every one of us, all of us, no matter who you are, everyone has a story and no one is listening. And when you're the person who provides the platform for someone to come and tell their story on, they'll love you forever. And in that sense, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're a beginner, the beauty of it is then people go to a place of, oh, what would I even talk about on it? What type of questions should I ask? Blah, 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 blah. If you're a beginner and a newbie in real estate, you have a million questions anyway. Those are the questions that you ask on your show. So you're learning, but at the same time, you're also creating content, because now most people with podcasts put the 45, the 30-minute interview on a pedestal. We've all seen it on Facebook. We've all seen it on Instagram. Hey guys, new episode I just did with Chris, link in bio, go check it out. Back to there being so much noise out there, you're causing way too much friction for me to say, oh, because Chris said link in bio, now I have to go pull out my headphones, get out of Facebook mode, get out of Instagram mode, and now sit down and go into podcast mode and listen to your 45-minute interview. I think that the true value of a podcast isn't the 45, 30-minute interview. The true value of a post-produced show just like this isn't the full show. I think the real value is the 4 to 5, the 1 to 2, the 3 to 4, 1 to 3 minute clips within those interviews that you then post-produce and put on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at scale. Because now when you do that, you don't have to think about creating content. If you're a newbie, you don't have to, you don't have to think about it, because all you have to do is focus on, let me get my podcast going. Let me interview Chris. Let me interview Hakeem. Let me interview Nina. Let me interview Cindy. Let me interview Angela. Let me interview Jonathan. And then on the back end, on the weekends or whenever, that's when I'm going to go through those interviews, find those 3 to 4 to 5 clips, chop them up, add an upper third, add some subtitles at the bottom, and then put that on my Facebook, put that on my Instagram, put that on my LinkedIn. Because when you're putting that type of stuff out at scale, people like me, people like you, anybody's going to see that and go, oh, this person's really on their stuff. Like, this is super interesting. Where can I find the rest of that interview at? And that's when they go and actually find your long form interview. And then if you're an experienced investor, same thing. You can use it. I think podcast is the best biz dev tool out there. If you want to get into large apartment buildings and you've been flipping houses for the last 10 years, start a podcast and just interview people who invest in apartment buildings. Interview someone who raises capital. Interview someone who finds properties. Interview someone who's just a property manager on those types of properties. And it's literally just real world business advice versus now reading a book, now BSing and never really get started. Because now, on top of getting the knowledge from these people are now in your network. And now you, by having, you just interviewed 100 people who invest in apartment buildings. You interviewed this one guy in Kansas City who raises capital. And then you interviewed this one guy in St. Louis who's actually an operator and is looking for capital. And you connecting the two, it's a way for you to add value, sit on the sidelines and wait for your turn when you're actually ready to strike in that sense. I think podcasts is the ultimate hack to creating content at scale and hacking what you ultimately want to do in the business world.
Wow, now that's deep. Definitely some podcasts. So I agree with what you said there. So that's why I kind of do this show every Monday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And we've had a whole group of different people on, talking about private money, talking about wholesaling, talking about building business and branding and strategies and credit and everything, because I even learned something from this stuff. I ask questions that I really want to know. Hey, how did you do that? How did you pull that stunt off? Go back and I can actually do it.
And now those people are friends with you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we met at the STL Rio. I was the keynote speaker, and you came up to me like after the event, said, "Hey, I got the show. I'd love to be on." I'm like, "Oh, it's freaking awesome!" But like now we're boys. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely makes a difference there. So yeah, so I know you said podcast. So would it be better for a person to do video streams, or you think it's easier to do the podcast, or are you saying them as the same thing, synonymous?
It's the same thing. So video. So this could be a podcast. I'm not sure if you know how that works. So literally, if you take this stream that's going to get turned into, say, probably a YouTube video, I'm sure, or say we did this on Zoom and we recorded it. When you get the MP4 version of that video, you can go on, if you have a MacBook, you can go on GarageBand, or if you have a regular laptop, you can go on, I think it's called anyvideoconverter.net or .com, and it will take that MP4 video and it'll strip the audio off of it. And then you go to a website called anchor.com, and on Anchor is owned by Spotify. You literally upload that audio to Anchor. Anchor allows you to cut it, edit it, add an intro, add some music, add whatever you want to it. And then literally Anchor blasts it out to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, all for free. And now you've got a podcast. And like, that's the beauty of it. Like, whether it's like, I've done podcasts in a park. I've done a podcast on a train before. I've done podcasts. I've done it everywhere. I mean, I'm standing up. I'm in my garage right now. But like this audio, like after
here in my garage, but go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? But like this audio, for example, like I'm even recording me talking right now, and I'll take that video and I'll have my own podcast and I can strip that and throw it on there as well. It's just a way to continuously curate and post-produce content at scale.
Definitely makes a difference, because we are streaming live right now on YouTube, streaming live on Periscope, streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on the Woke Real Estate Investors Group on Facebook as well. Plus, like you said, I do take this and extract it and turn it into a podcast. I just take the whole thing. I don't chop it up or anything. I don't
even think it has to be chopped up. Most people think it has to. I think the raw is the best. You got a dog in the back barking, that makes it cool. You got a baby crying and she interrupts your interview, that makes it even better. Shows the true authentic, not this polished up perfect version of yourself. Exactly.
Corey Nicole on Facebook wants to know, where's your accent from?
My accent is from actually South Jersey, New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey, and a lot of us talk this way. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
How she pick up on your accent? She must have knew. I think she from that area or something. She was on a couple weeks ago as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So that's how we do it. So yeah, that's let's see here. You are live wholesaling houses for newbie. Yep. She even shared it in our Facebook group. Look at that. See, that's what you say. You network with people and it grows. You just never know, right?
That's awesome. I mean, that's the point of it. The more you shoot, the more you just produce, ask people like Corey Nicole, come on your show. Things like great things are just bound to happen in that sense.
Yeah, she got a great Facebook group.
Snap! She's from Willenboro. That's so crazy. That's where my grandparents are from. That is so crazy. I grew up in Sicklerville, South Jersey. That's so wild.
Wow,
it's a small world right there.
So you have a podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is called the one that I'm actually just launching is called Value. So it's we've taken my team and we've curated all my speeches that I've done over the last year, and like the Q&A segments of it, or episodes like this, or shows that I've been a guest on in that sense, and are turning it into like, there'll be like an intro at the beginning of it, like, this is a short interview with Chris Monroe from his show, blah 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 blah, and then it'll go right into say this content in that sense. But it's called Value. But it'll be it'll be probably in the next 10 days, it'll actually be like launched. We'll have 3 episodes out, and then we'll be dropping like every 2 days.
Right. I know that's right. Putting out the content. Let them know you ain't messing around. She said, hey, neighbor.
That's awesome. That's crazy. South Jersey is where it's at.
They decided for this 420. Oh, okay. They figured something out. So so Hakeem, where are you from? So you from New Jersey, or where are you from?
Yeah, I grew up in South Jersey. Then I went to boarding school in Central Jersey called the Petty School. Then I went to Monmouth University, which is a school in Jersey as well. And then played in Arizona, Detroit, New York, and then now I live in St. Louis.
Okay, cool. So I know you said something about the micro content, breaking it down, taking it, chopping it up. So do you think people should take the time to go do it themselves, hire a company to do it, hire a virtual assistant to do it? What is your position on stuff like that?
I think it's I wouldn't say it's to each his own, but it really is to each his own in the sense of it depends on what you can handle. Like, for example, my company, that's exactly what we do. We handle micro content, post-production of podcasts, creative strategy on actually figuring out what your content plan is and stuff like that. But you could do it all yourself. Like, YouTube is an abundant world we live in. There's so much free stuff on YouTube, Instagram, shows like this where you can just learn and figure it out to do it yourself. It's going to take you a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, just read that. At the end of the day, recently, at the end of the day, hiring a company like myself is only going to be able to make it happen faster in that sense, or have someone hold your hand along the process. But like, yeah, micro content's important, whether it's you doing it yourself, going on iMovie, whether it's going on, I'm trying to think of another video converter for something that's not for the Mac.
InShot.
InShot is a great program. There's a program called Vemely, VEME.ly. It might cost like $70, $80, I want to say, but it is unreal. If you look at some of the content on my platforms that has upper thirds and that has subtitles at the bottom, actually another quick tip for everyone in this audience: if you're putting out content, especially short videos, 1 to 3 minutes, make sure you put subtitles at the bottom of those videos. 80% of videos watched on social media are watched without the sound because we're all in places where we can't turn on the sound in that sense, if you know what I mean. So like, we're either at work. Well, right now, obviously, because of COVID, most of us aren't at work. But if you're at work, you might be scrolling on Instagram, but if the sound pops off, you're going to get in trouble. You might be in school. You might be watching a movie with your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or whatever, and you got your phone just like, on your leg, and all of a sudden the sound goes off and your spouse goes, yo, what are you doing? Like, if you don't have subtitles on your videos, those people in those situations can't watch your content. And the proven statistic is 80% of those people watch those videos without the sound.
Wow, that's a big number. That means you're missing out on a lot of audience that's not even connected.
On top of the fact that the algorithm, you're already not reaching your entire audience. Now the audience that you're reaching, 80% of them can't even watch your videos without the sound, just because of the situation that they're in.
Wow. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that. You definitely want to have people that, you're putting out this content, you want to be heard. And so do you have a favorite platform that you like, or you say you should distribute on all of them?
I'm very unemotional about the platforms. I would say my favorite platform is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has gotten me the most abundant amount of opportunities, and the people that you connect with and work with on LinkedIn, those are the people that you can actually do business with. Honestly, a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram, they play around too much, in my opinion. LinkedIn is about action. People are in a business mindset when they're on LinkedIn, when they're scrolling, when they're consuming content, when they're doing outreach and stuff like that. And one of my best pieces of advice for people on LinkedIn, literally tactical, this is like A, B, C, do this. Decide the market you want to invest in. Say you want to invest in apartment buildings or whatever. Go to, say, St. Louis, like go to LinkedIn, the search bar, filter it down to St. Louis, and then search real estate. You'll probably see 3,000 to 4,000 people pop up. And you can see what they do, their bio. You can see everything that they do. Connect with the people that you think are interesting or that you think you might want to work with. Don't send a message. Most people send the same generic BS that no one's reading, because we're animals at the end of the day. We're like, pattern recognition is real. We know when someone just sent a copy paste template message of, hey, Saul, we have the same interest here on LinkedIn, would love to connect. Or, hey, Saul, we're connected with the same people in the same industry. Like, that's BS. Connect with them. If they connect back with you, what I do, I send a 10-second video to them. I say, hey, Chris, super happy to be connected with you. Hope my content can bring you some value. Anything I can do, if you have any questions on anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you have a great day. Boom, next. No, not asking for anything. Makes it personal. I mentioned your name. Don't say, oh, I've got this company called Perspective Global Media, and I can help you with this, that, and that. Like, no. Like it's literally that's the thing that guys do when they go to the bar. As soon as you walk up to someone, yo, you trying to go home? Like that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened to romance? You know what I'm saying?
No dating skills at all, huh?
It works on LinkedIn too.
So you saying you should give, and then ask. Ain't that what Gary Vee say?
Jab, 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 right hook, my friend.
Wait a minute, let me see. Is that him right there? Hey,
look at that.
yeah, and he grabbed me on the arm. I was like, hey, what are you talking about? I'm getting this photo.
He's the man. That's awesome. Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's give, give, give. But a lot of people mess up with jab, 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 right hook, or give, give, and ask. Most people think it's give, 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 and now expect. That's manipulation. Do you know what I'm saying? That's like me showing you how to set up a podcast and expecting you to work with my company. I could give a shit if you guys work with my company. As explicit as that sounds, that's real. Because like it's an abundant world out there. But if you just give at scale with nothing, like unemotional about giving, like make that your number one priority, the opportunities will come. When you ask, though, you ask. Like you're just real with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's hard to kind of be like it's a crazy balance, and that's this shit isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard out here for a pimp.
It's real. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So like I said, everybody that's watching, we're on with Hakeem here, dropping some information on us. If you have any questions, make sure you put it in the comments here. We'll get it before we wrap this thing up here in the next few moments. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Even if you don't like it, give it a thumbs up anyway. Give it a share and let them know you care. So Hakeem, they want to know, why did you choose St. Louis? I guess
honestly, it was so I used to be engaged, and we have a 19-month-old daughter, and her family's out here in St. Louis, and I'm on the road once a week, whether it's speaking or business. So it just made it way easier being around her family. But we recently split, and now I'm in my own house, so I'm right next to my daughter. We kind of co-parent right here in St. Louis. But not the biggest fan of St. Louis, but it's all right.
Come on, man. We're going to go and get you a tattoo like this. Say, stop playing. We're going to get you assimilated. Stop playing.
No, I'm just kidding. I like St. Louis. It's taken some time to get adjusted to it. I got to spend more time in the city, though, because I'm out in the county in O'Fallon. It's a little different out here.
All right. I'm looking at some houses out there. Matter of fact, I'm working on 3 deals out there. We can get them signed. We'll be all right. All right, so let's see here. LinkedIn. Let's say I have to get my LinkedIn profile. Can you give me a tutorial, Hakeem, on getting your LinkedIn back up?
No doubt. Reach out. I'll we'll set that up. We can do a little Zoom, and I'll just share my screen and walk you right through it.
Okay. LinkedIn is a pretty simple platform, though, right? It's not difficult like some of these can be, I guess. I'd probably say it's probably it's probably one of the harder platforms to more get you. Like when I got my LinkedIn set up, somebody helped me set my LinkedIn up. So it's kind of like I get it in that sense. And I actually have not a company, but just somebody who's helping me set up our business profile on LinkedIn, because it's just at least something I don't want to do, but it is something that's kind of annoying. Do they let you do live streaming on LinkedIn, or you got to have a certain amount of followers or something? How does that work?
Right now, I believe you have to request for it. It's almost like they're picking and choosing who's doing it. They're eventually going to allow it, like at scale, but right now they're kind of it's like a testing phase right now. Yeah,
because I actually requested it way back when I found out they said you can do live, and I guess they denied me.
Have you done it more than once or no?
Just one time.
Do it more, because I know a guy who did it like 10, 15 times, and he just got it like a month ago.
Because I would stream this show on there as well. Because right now, like I said, we're streaming on my personal Facebook page, the Chris Monroe Show page on Facebook, the Woke Real Estate Investors page on Facebook, the YouTube page, and Periscope. So I'm on multiple platforms, but I want to take one of those off and make it Instagram. I mean, or make it Instagram too. They need to let you do it too. But I want to be on LinkedIn as well, if possible.
It's real. If you could do that, you'll probably have the success you'll have on there. It's going to be unreal.
Cool. So yeah, so that's cool. So you say people can do it whatever makes sense for them as far as the micro content. So what is it that your company actually does? So do you teach people how to do it, or do you do it for them?
So we've kind of split off on two sides. We have like a strategy portion of it, but we also have a team that we actually do post-production of content. So we have an entire team in the Philippines. Our production team's in the Philippines that handles all of that. So, it's a series of conversations with you and whatever your team is in that sense, figuring out what your cadence is, and then on the back end, figuring out what your thesis of content's going to be that you want to put out there, so we can actually create a system behind it, because it's all about systems at the end of the day. So it's you doing your show, uploading it to Dropbox or Google Drive, and then a week later you've got content. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's right. Content is king. So when it comes to this, the coronavirus and stuff that's going on, has that affected your businesses at all?
With me, I mean, my tenants paid rent on April 1st, so we'll see what happens on May 1st. And I'm sending care packages out to them just to be like, I'm super grateful that they paid rent. It's awesome. From a media company perspective, we made a big what's the word? Not a big pivot, but besides real estate professionals, we also work with small businesses, financial services professionals, professional athletes. And I think I said small businesses already. But we do media buying. So Facebook, Instagram ads, stuff like that. We handle content for those types of niches in that sense. Right now, it's kind of an incentive time to be doing outreach to a lot of different people, because they've either lost their job, they're going through hardship, they're dealing with family members who are dealing with awful things that are related to this. So you got to really figure, like, we've taken a step back to really figure out what our message is going to be. But then we've created our own turnkey podcast product, because I believe that everyone at some point has thought about starting their own podcast, but no one's had the time. We've all listened to a podcast and be like, oh, damn, I could do that. But what we essentially did is put together a 90-day momentum product for people to essentially, we hold their hand through episode 4 of getting their podcast launched off the ground, creating micro content for them. And then after you get to episode 4, give you the option, if you guys want to work with us as a retainer client on a monthly basis, depending on how much content you're going to be putting out. So right now we got our foot on the gas with that. So we're running Facebook, Instagram ads, figuring out different podcasts. You got podcasts that are in the real estate space. I think Dr. Jonathan Branch said he has a podcast. People who have all that type of stuff, we're actually running. So this is a hack for people who have businesses and stuff like that. People who host podcasts don't know how to price themselves. So podcast is an underpriced, market of attention, in the sense of we're entering different affiliate deals and podcast deals to now run our ads on people's podcasts. Of, you listen to a podcast and you hear, hey, have you ever thought about starting a podcast? Go to perspectiveglobalmedia.com to set up a phone call to figure out how to get started. Boom. Doing that at scale, doing stuff like that. Now figure out which ways, figure out what, how that relates to your business, and do that, because it works. So that's kind of how we've made a severe pivot. And I mean, we're ripping and running. I'm up till 3 a.m. and waking up at 7 a.m. every day right now, because it's a busy time. And we've hired probably 4 to 5 people in the last 2 weeks to handle the stuff that we're kind of doing right now.
Right. Shouts out to my bro Chris Haskins there. They just had their baby last night.
Oh, snap. Congratulations.
I know that was hard with the hospitals and the COVID-19 going on, but shout out to them, him and Princess. So when it comes to this, I know I kind of asked you before, but so when it comes to these platforms, because I know even like Chris, he's pretty heavy on YouTube. Do you think people should be spread out across all these platforms, or just pick 1 or 2 and just go hard on that?
I think it's figure out what you're good at in that sense. And this is going to sound crazy for everyone in here. Everyone here needs to at least spend at least during COVID, if you've got some time, spend at least 3 to 4 hours consuming content on TikTok, consuming real estate content on TikTok, figuring out people are sleeping on TikTok. Like, the organic reach has gone down a little bit. Like, it was wild on how you could go viral. I mean, I've got a video that went viral on there. It was wild how easy that could happen. It's going down because people are home now, and a lot of college kids are now on that app. The main reason why I say TikTok is so important. TikTok started out, it was just for like 12 to 15-year-olds. Now it's like 12 to 18-year-olds. Now it's like 12 to 22-year-olds. The reason why TikTok is important, people like us are ignoring it because it's like, oh, it's the little kids are on there, blah, 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 blah. If you plan on being a real estate investor, if you plan on doing what you're doing in perpetuity, meaning forever, you're not trying to make $1 million tomorrow, cash out, live on a beach in Mexico, smoke weed all day and just chill. Like, if you're actually trying to do this for in perpetuity, The kids who are 12 to 22 years old right now, how old are they going to be in 10 years? 22 to 32. The
Right.
prime age. TikTok might not be around 10 years from now, but the 12 to 22-year-olds in 10 years are going to be the shit, meaning they're going to create the TikTok of the future, meaning you better know how to communicate on a platform like TikTok, or you yourself will be irrelevant. Instagram's going to go away. Facebook's going to go away. LinkedIn's going to go away. You better know how to communicate on something like that, or you're going to be the same person who doesn't know how to communicate on Instagram right now, or TikTok right now, or stuff like you have to figure out how to learn how to. Somebody just asked, how do you get that content? Like, you just got to search real estate. Like, go on TikTok, search real estate, hashtag investor, and just consume. Go to Gary Vee's TikTok and just look at his stuff. He's not a real estate investor, but he's also not a kid who's dancing. He's just figuring out his ways to provide value. And like, you'll figure it out, but it's just about ideas and making. Like, if your first video is good, that means you waited too long to even post it, because you already made 100 videos that you never posted because you're waiting to make it the perfect video. Do you know what I'm saying?
So I guess what I'm hearing here, because you said be good at TikTok today, I guess what I'm consuming from what you're saying is master the platform of the time you're in. If somebody watching this 5 years from now, they should be good at whatever platform that is out and popping at that time. Is that what you're saying?
100%. Test it. See if it's here now. It's not like 6 months, not even 6 months. A year ago, you could have been like, TikTok is like, It was, Musically, and then it got transferred into TikTok. There's, I don't know how many, there's over a 500 million. I think they've reached 1 billion downloads on the app. Like, it's here. It's happened. It's not even like, it's not a question anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's here. It's there. Like, so if you plan on being relevant for the next 50 years, we're all going to live to 120 years old anyway. If you plan on being relevant, you better learn how to actually put out content on those platforms, because that's what the platforms of the future are going to look like. And if you don't know how to right now, in 15 years, you're really not going to know how to.
Because it's only going to get more and more difficult, possibly, huh?
100%.
So yeah, I do have a thing against TikTok from switching from Musically to TikTok, because I already had an account and I went ahead to make Chris Monroe STL2 on TikTok because I already had an account. They didn't tell me.
That's real. That sucks. Oh,
I'm like, man, y'all messing up my social media name. So that's janky, ain't it?
That's real.
So TikTok, though, I will say a good thing about them. They've done a good job with marketing. So when somebody posts their videos outside of them, to put that little TikTok thing up there to let you know.
Watermark. Yep.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, that's what helped them blow up, I think. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. I mean, they're as a platform, they're killing it. And honestly, it's going to help. Like, you producing content on TikTok is only going to help you become more and more creative. Like, we're all inherently creative, we haven't tapped in yet. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. So get in on the, because I know 2 years ago, maybe it was Snapchat. Everybody like, get on that Snapchat, get on Snapchat. Like, huh?
Because it's all about, like, you never know when a platform's gonna go. I did a speech, probably, this is like before, like, TikTok is like, I wouldn't say it's not dead. TikTok is not what it was 6 months ago. It's not even close to what it was 6 months ago. Like 6 months ago, you can post your first 5 videos on TikTok and then all of a sudden have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers. Like, my real estate partner, who is also my college football teammate, he's got, I don't know how many followers he's got, but he's got videos over 1 million views on them. And it's just, he's a personal trainer as well. And he's just him putting out personal training content, just your regular type of stuff. But platforms go through different changes, and you don't know, how do I explain this? You don't know what, like, TikTok is the only conceivable threat to Instagram. Like, when you really think about it, it's the only conceivable threat to it. And then you got to think about the history of these platforms. Facebook started.
They saying TikTok is what now? Hold on, I try to put it up where you
2
can see.
billion downloads.
That's a lot of dang people, ain't it?
So Facebook, for example, started out as a platform for Harvard students only. That was all it was, literally for Harvard students to communicate. And then Mark Zuckerberg expanded it to just Ivy League students to communicate, to hook up, to meet up, all that type of stuff. Then it expanded to just college students. That was it. And then back to like 2008, 2009, then it became legit. Everybody was on it. College students, all that. And then it was like, oh, all of our parents are on it. Facebook is lame, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody went to Instagram. Instagram started out as I don't know if people know this, Instagram started as a photo app. Like you literally used Instagram to take a picture, put a filter on it, take it off of Instagram, and then send it to your friends because it looks cool. Like I remember I used to do, he's like, Mom, look at this picture. I just took this dope picture of this tree in the backyard. Look at the filter on it. Because like that's all it did. And now Instagram is Instagram, like Snapchat. Snapchat and Instagram. Snapchat became a threat to Instagram when DJ Khaled got stuck out on that jet ski. And he really, I don't know if you remember that when like DJ Khaled was like the guy on Snapchat. But at that point, Snapchat was a severe threat to Instagram. And then what did Instagram do? They created Instagram stories.
Copy.
And then Snapchat went down, like it's Snapchat now. Now we've got TikTok. 2 billion downloads in the last, year?
That's crazy.
Instagram's going to have to make a pivot. If TikTok makes one tweak, that all of a sudden there's just an exodus of people that go from Instagram to TikTok, Instagram's dead. And then now you've been building
Facebook just gonna buy them like they do everybody else.
We'll see. I don't know if Facebook can. Facebook should have bought them. Facebook should have bought Musical.ly back when it was Musical.ly.
I know that's right. That makes sense. Let's see here. Interesting. I agree. I believe this break is a rebaselining of how things will work going forward. So yeah. So what do you think as far as these social medias? Do you think who's going to be the big dog on the block, say 3 years from now?
In terms of platforms or people?
Platform.
I don't know. I'm literally figuring out what's going on. I'm day trading attention. That's probably Gary Vee's best saying. I day trade attention. Tomorrow something could change, and I'll be on that platform. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when is LinkedIn gonna blow up? Are they coming next or what?
LinkedIn is blown up. If all the stuff that we just talked about right now, if you left this conversation with one thing, if I could give you guys one, it would literally just to literally only focus on LinkedIn or focus on posting on LinkedIn at scale. Like it gives you the opportunities to it depends on what you want. If you're just posting content to be cool. Go post on Instagram and be cool. If you're posting content because you actually want to get biz dev out of it, to figure out ways to actually provide for your future in that sense, post on LinkedIn at scale because of the way platforms and algorithms work is how many eyes are on the platform and how many people are posting on the platform. LinkedIn has a lot of eyes because LinkedIn used to be this big resume platform. It was a place you go to post your resume, get an endorsement, and go get a job. It is not that anymore. Like there's still a bunch of people with a bunch of eyes on LinkedIn, but all these business people are too insecure to post content. So when you post your first piece of content, there's not enough content in the pipes that are being filled by all the eyes that are on the platform. So what LinkedIn does is they allow that content to be seen by way more people. The way LinkedIn works is if Chris, you post your first piece of content on LinkedIn and I like it, all of my followers now see that piece of content on their timeline. And if it's a good enough piece of content, it has a title at the top that says how to buy an apartment building. Then somebody's probably going to be compelled to actually watch it. And then what happens is I like it. Cool. My however many followers I have get to see it. 50 of my followers, it's literally a pyramid scheme of content is what LinkedIn is. It's literally a pyramid scheme of content. And one day it's going to stop. It's literally what happened with TikTok. TikTok was the same exact way. It was a bunch of people watching a bunch of people doing dances. And all those people would go viral because there were so many eyes, but not enough people actually posting content. Now, because of coronavirus is happening, all these kids from college are home and they're bored as hell and they're posting on TikTok at scale. So now what's happening is when you post on TikTok, your videos aren't doing as well as they were doing a month ago because of that's just how algorithm is literally supply and demand of content on a platform. That's how the algorithm will treat it.
That makes sense. So
LinkedIn is the TikTok for real estate investors. You want to make shit happen, post on LinkedIn.
Get on that LinkedIn and make that money come on in. I know that's right. What are your thoughts about IGTV? You think that's going anywhere?
IGTV is extremely important. If you're posting videos on Instagram, I would make your videos longer than a minute. Like, even if the video is 55 seconds, at the end of it, I would have like an outro something so it can go to 101 because My CMO was actually just at a Facebook, almost like a private type of conference, and IGTV is what they really want to boost. They want IGTV to be like YouTube TV. They want to actually be a TV type of thing, but in order to do it, they want to incentivize people who are posting on it. So literally, you post a video that's under a minute versus a video that's over a minute on IGTV, it's going to over-index as an IGTV video versus just an organic Instagram posted video. Like IGTV, I rarely post a video that's under a minute because I'd rather post it on IGTV because it's going to do probably 3 times better than it would do if I just posted it on my just regular timeline as a video.
Yeah, I can understand that. The only downfall I see with IGTV is if you do a video over a minute, you can't promote it. You can't market it. I mean, it's only organic.
You can't promote it on Instagram. You can promote it on Facebook. But thing about when you say promote it, let me actually ask you a question, Chris. When you're promoting posts, are you promoting it directly from your phone? Like when Instagram has the thing that says promote, like right on your thing, is that how you're promoting? Is that what you're saying?
Sometimes, yes.
Piece of advice for anyone in the chats who's doing that, anyone, don't ever do that again. If you're going to do that, go to business.facebook.com and do it from a desktop or a laptop computer. Completely different interface, and you're wasting 10 times more money when you're doing promote. It's hard to explain it, and how I guess I can explain it is when you promote a post, it's essentially promoting that post and putting it on every, like, say you have a 1-minute video and you just promoted it. Instagram is promoting that on Instagram, but they're also promoting that in Instagram stories as well. But that video isn't optimized to be an Instagram story video. It's not contextual to someone in an like when you're posting an Instagram story video, the video should be a 9:16 full shot video. And at the end of it, you should be saying swipe up or something of that sort, or it should be a shorter 15-second video, not a 1-minute video that gets cut off at 15 seconds. So what happens is you're wasting money. You put $50 against a post and you hit promote. 25 of it is getting posted in the feed. The other 25 is getting posted in the stories, but no one's watching it because it's not contextual. It doesn't make any sense to the person who's seeing it in the story. When you
go to the biz.facebook page to promote a story. So if it's over a minute, you can promote them too?
To do anything ads wise, go to business.facebook.com because what you'll see there is essentially a back office interface that allows you to see when you hit promote on your phone, it's automatically posting it to wherever, like in your feed, in the stories, on Facebook, on InStream on Facebook, on like everywhere. When you go to business.facebook, it's already checked off for you as automatic, but then you hit edit placements, then you can literally pick, okay, I want to do a Instagram story ad and maybe Facebook story as well. And then now you actually make a video that's contextual to someone in their Instagram story. So like I make it like, perfect example, I do private VIP dinners when I go to different cities for free. And I do a swipe up ad after I pretty much build a custom audience through video views. So I'll put out a video that did well organically on Instagram. I'll target, say, St. Louis real estate investors, showing that I have knowledge in real estate. But then I'll hit them in the Instagram story saying, hey, St. Louis investors, my name's Hakeem Valles, former NFL player. I'm hosting a private dinner at blah, blah, blah restaurant. The first 6 people who respond to this ad get to come for free. Swipe up for more details. And then boom, like that video can't go anywhere else. Like if that video was in your news feed, you'd be like, what the hell is this guy even talking about? You know what I'm saying? But if you go to edit placements, you can do that with anything. So now you hit edit placements, you put Facebook in feed, then you upload a video that's over a minute. You can run an ad on a video that's over a minute on Facebook in feed.
Okay, so basically it's better to go to that business.facebook website or page, upload a video that's just going to be nothing but marketing, not something you already posted.
Yes, you can do so, and you can look at stuff that you posted too. But when it comes to ads, you want to spend less money. Like it's all about how ninja can you get with the context of your ads. For example, an ad that I ran against Detroit real estate investors. Because I was trying to do a video, I got a private VIP dinner like a month ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
When I organically posted that video, the upper third, when I say upper third, it means like the title that you see on the upper third of the video. The original upper third was how an NFL player bought a fourplex. Did really, really well. When I ran an ad against people in Detroit, the upper third said how a Detroit Lions player bought a fourplex. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what context is. Context is saying, instead of saying, hey, St. Louis, I'm hosting a real estate meetup group at so and so and so and so and so and so. Come out, whatever. Instead of doing that, it's instead creating 6 different ads that says, hey, Maryland Heights, I'm hosting an event, blah, 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 blah. Hey, O'Fallon, I'm hosting an event, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Chesterfield, I'm hosting an event. Doing that, it like that small set, like there's too much noise out there. If you can't break someone's pattern recognition with something like, oh shit, he's talking to me. That's how you do it.
Make it specific to the audience.
Context is everything. That's wearing a St. Louis Rams shirt, or that's wearing like whatever year, let's say like the Cardinals won a World Series, but like not recently, but like way back in the day. And this ad campaign is for older people. You mention something in the first 4 seconds about that World Series, you'll get their attention. You mention something, you're targeting. Let's say we're hosting a meetup event in St. Louis. That's about real estate. The demographic of people that I would try and probably go after I would go after 2 different demographics. People who are fans of the St. Louis Rams. And I'd mentioned something about Kroenke taking the team out of St. Louis in the first 5 seconds, just to catch your attention because you're a fan of the Rams, but you're also a real estate investor. Or I'd mentioned something about the Battlehawks and the XFL getting shut down, but how cool it was that they were here. Like, yo, it was crazy that the Battlehawks were here, right? Blah, 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 blah.
People were crazy over them dang Battlehawks. Ah, whatever noise.
And then you start your ad off with caw and you're wearing a freaking hat, but then you say, oh, by the way, I'm hosting an event, blah, 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 blah. Like, doing that, I promise you, that's how you make a penny work like $1. That's how you convert and have a higher, CPM, CPC in terms of your ad spend. A lower CPC in terms of your ad spend because you're adding so much context to the ad versus making one vanilla. Like, back to us having this opportunity. Back in the day, you only can make a commercial that everybody sees. Now you can make 150 commercials and only put $5 against all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Works.
Instead of putting $100,000 behind one vanilla piece of BS.
That makes sense. You got them gone with it. Let's see here. Mario wants to know, do you have a website that provides your fees and costs for, I guess, your marketing?
Yeah. So if you go to perspectiveglobalmedia.com and you scroll down to like the bottom of it, it's an area that, hold on, I'm going to share my screen real quick and I'll just show you what, can you see my screen?
Yeah, as soon as it pops up. Let me take mine off. Okay. Yeah, I can see it now.
Boom. So if you go to my website, when you get to the bottom of it, you'll see perspectiveglobalmedia.com. When you get to the bottom of it, you'll see like my bio, blah, 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 blah. But if you click that set up a phone call link right there, you'll just simply pick a time to set up a call. And then from there, we can like know more about who you are, what you're doing, and essentially figure it out from there. Not like a carte blanche menu of this is what we do, this is how much.
I want to know what I can get for 99 cents.
Yeah. Honestly, that's why I say everything's out there for free. We're just going to save you time. And we just know what we're talking about.
And Jonathan wants to know, where can he get that hoodie?
So this is actually my college roommate. Just like literally, I just right before this, just opened it. It's just Documentation University. So he, if you DM him, he hasn't. I'll remember you, Jonathan Branch. I'll reach out to you about that because he doesn't have like a website or anything. It's literally he just started making them and he loves the saying. And it was inspired from. I put him on to Gary Vee in that sense and talk like one thing that Gary Vee says for all you guys out there is document, don't create. Most people spend all their time trying to create. They get stressed out because they think they have to create content. Whereas if you just document what you're doing already, you'll have content in that sense. And he's, starting to document everything he's starting to do now. And with that, he just created these hoodies called Documentation University. So I'll make sure that Jonathan Branch, I'll get to you with that. I'll make sure Bunch, his name's Jamir Bunch. I'll have him reach out to you.
Cool, cool. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the thing about social media. You know, somebody all the way across the United States see something you're wearing. Where do I get one of them at? How do I
That's the
get
beauty.
one? That's
That's
the
the
power.
beauty of it.
I know that's right. So I know you've done a lot of different business things in the past, from the marketing, from the real estate. What are some mistakes you made in the past, and what did you learn from some of those mistakes?
Mm, so many mistakes. Like embrace your L's and talk about your L's. Like I love losing, micro losing. Like don't go out of business, obviously. Because you learn so much from L's. I remember when I bought my fourplex, I wanted to what's the word? You know, you can obviously self-manage a property because you can make a little bit more when it comes to cash flow in that sense. But at the same time, I'm playing in the NFL, and me being the bottleneck as a property manager and playing was not the move. And like essentially, I got cut from the Cardinals and had to go to Detroit to play for the Lions like the next day. And in that process, have you guys ever talked about like cash for keys to like your people?
Mm-hmm.
So cash for keys
You got to get them up out of that house.
getting them up instead of evicting them, having it being a 6-month process. I paid my tenant $500 so she can get out, and I was in the process of that while I was getting cut, and then having to go to Detroit, learn a new playbook, try and solidify myself on the Detroit Lions. In that process of cash for keys, that tenant tried to kill herself in the property, so she's in a hospital, and then in that process, we like have her daughter go into her daughter, my ex, because I'm in Detroit at this point, go into the apartment to start moving her stuff out and putting it in a truck so when she gets out of the hospital she can be out. And on top of it, she had a whole bunch of just people squatting in there as well, just a bunch of drugs. He was a drug addict. They had a dog. I guess she had a dog. When she went to the hospital, they just locked the dog in like a bedroom, and the dog pooped over and over and over and over and over and over again in the room. So the druggies slid a candle in the room so it could smell a little bit better. The dog, of course, knocked the candle over. The whole room caught on fire. I didn't even know this. Like until we go in there, every single vent has soot on the outside of it. Like that room caught on fire from it. That dealing with that from afar was awful. Like I can't, like it was so stressful. And like with that, I realized I need to hire a property manager with every property. So that's exactly what I did. And then moving forward, I started to realize that I'm overly optimistic. So I give people the benefit of a doubt. Always. I'm always looking for the good, not the bad. And I did that with a partnership. We bought a 7-unit apartment building last year after I retired. But the partnership just went to shit. And it was just like, it wasn't a smack in my face. It was just a realization of, damn, like I should have saw the red flags in that sense. Maybe my judgment of character isn't where it needs to be, but also maybe, and one thing that we didn't do up front, which we should have, like, yeah, we had an agreement between each other, but we didn't really solidify our roles on what everyone was doing, which is something that when you think you have a good enough relationship with someone, it's almost like a what's understood doesn't have to be said in that sense. Whereas in business, that shit needs to be said. And like with that stressed me the hell out. And me being self-aware, I realized that I'm not crazy about operations in real estate. So so from a real estate perspective, yes, I own a media company. So we have a capital raising company called Empathy Capital Group. I don't like to operate apartment buildings anymore. I'd rather partner up with an experienced operator in a market that I want to focus on and deploy capital to. So I raise capital from professional athletes, guys I played with, guys who are not just in the league, maybe NBA, MLB, and stuff like that. And then we find the right opportunities and deploy that capital.
That makes sense. So your network is your net worth, right?
150%. 150%.
I know that's right. All right. So we've been on here for a little bit, Hakeem. What is anything else you want to share with the family before we let you get up out of here and do some more woke stuff? Where do people connect with you? How do they find you? Any words of wisdom and knowledge you want to drop on people before we roll this thing up?
100%. Best place to find me, I've got Instagram. So it's Hak Valles 80, HAK, V as in Victor, ALLES. and then the number 80. It's a verified account, so you'll I think it's like the only verified Hakeem out there. Facebook is just Hakeem Valles. LinkedIn, Hakeem Valles. My email address is hakeem.perspective@gmail. But words of wisdom, man, the fortune is in the follow-up. It's probably the greatest thing I've ever heard recently, is the fortune is in the follow-up. We're presented with millions of opportunities every day, and none of us follow up. And I think all the fortune of what you're looking for is following up with those people. Like at the end of every show, I say the same exact thing. Reach out to me, send me a DM, send me a message, blah, 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 blah. Rarely anyone follows up. And that's the punchline. Follow up.
Wow, that's true. A lot of people don't reach out. Now, some people do. Some people find
Some people do.
find you. Some people find you without you even saying it. Like, dang, how you
100%,
find me?
100%. But then they don't follow up 2 email chains later.
Exactly. I've had people call my business lines and they reach my virtual assistants, and I'm like, yeah, you weren't gonna just call me like that. You gotta make an appointment. So they thought they were gonna just look me up. You can't skip trace me, baby. I'm hidden. So now, so
real.
yeah, I appreciate your time coming on and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with the family. Other than that, anything else you want to say?
Really appreciate you guys. Appreciate your attention. Glad you guys hung around for an hour and 20 minutes. PerspectiveGlobalMedia.com is where you can set up a phone call with me. All you got to do is just pick a time on the set up a call button, and we'll just chat then. Really looking forward to it.
I know that's right. I know that's right. A good brother there. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, my brother. I really appreciate you having me on.
All right, no problem. And that's how we do it, family, right here each and every Monday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you're tuned in right here. If you like this video, if you learned something, even by accident, don't forget, smash, pound, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't joined already, don't forget to join that free Facebook group, Woke Real Estate Investors on Facebook. A free group talking about subject to, talking about lease options, talking about seller financing, and so much more. It's Woke Real Estate Facebook group. Check it out. It's free. Why not? Connect with others just like yourself. Other than that, don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be on that real estate meetup, virtual meetup. Tomorrow, April 21st, 6 p.m. Central Time. It's a Zoom meeting. You can actually join in on the Zoom if you want to at stlviplist.com, or you can just watch it right here on the platform you're doing if you just want to watch. But if you want to participate and get in on the panel, come on in. Rich Groves will definitely send you the link and the information to get you set up for that. So that's stlviplist.com. And I think we're going to start doing that probably every other week. So more content for you. So just tell them what you're going to do when the real estate runs wild on you. And this show was brought to you by WokeRealEstate.com and WokeSkipTracing.com. Get skip tracing as low as 15 cents per match, not by search, per match, 15 cents per match. Check that out. No minimums, no monthly fees, none of that crazy stuff. Fast, accurate data that you get right back in just a few minutes. WokeSkipTracing.com is the site for that. So with all that being said, thanks for watching, everybody. Do what you do. Be who you be, and I'll see you before you see me.
And we have. And we have. And we have. Mr. I Stay Woke.